Ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1552. Do you trick or treat? I'm in my office. I'm in my study room, which is actually my craft room, which has nothing in here but a couple of tables and a whiteboard, and there's a couple of boxes in the corner. It echoes, so I apologize for that. But I'm hiding. I do not trick or treat. I honestly don't get the concept. The only times I tricked or have done trick or treating was back when we were living in Virginia, and it was something Brad had grown up with, and so we did it the only problem with doing it at our place in Virginia is we had an 80-foot driveway, and it was dark. There was no street lamp near that driveway, so the driveway itself was dark, and people and kids did not want to come down the driveway to the house. Some brave souls kids did on odd years. There were a couple of years that Brad said, "Oh, we're just going to sit out in the driveway," but of course we're sitting in the dark. We were sitting in the dark halfway down the driveway, and we would like call out to people and have them come down and get their candy. And I was just sort of like, I really don't see the point. You know, we're busy telling kids don't take candy from strangers, yet here they are begging for it, or asking for it, not begging, asking for it. But the one thing I did kind of like about it was going for a walk. You know, Brad and I were just like, oh, screw this. So we'll turn the front porch lights off, and just go for a walk around the neighborhood, because there was a couple of houses in our neighborhood at the time that did these amazing decorations, the entire yard, the front of their house. I mean, they had holograms in the windows. They would have holograms in the garage door open. There'd be a screen there with holograms on it. I mean, it was pretty spectacular just seeing how people decorated their places for Halloween and things. But to tell you, you know, in New Zealand, we didn't celebrate Halloween. Didn't even know what it was until many, many, many years later. And when I left New Zealand in '97, it was just starting in very, very, very few areas in the country. And it was very, very limited. And like friends of mine turned around and says, "Oh, we had to go for a drive to find kids that were trick-or-treating." I said, "You finding that?" We no. I said, "We don't trick-or-treat in New Zealand." So it's taken a while. There are still, you know, it's still a growing movement within New Zealand. I don't know of many people that go trick-or-treating, but once we left Virginia, there was no more trick-or-treating for us, because the areas we lived in didn't have any kids that would go trick-or-treating. We lived at my mother-in-law's place, and it was up in the hills, where there's no pavements or anything. So and most of them were grown families or empty nesters. When we moved down to San Diego, the first place we rented was in a 55+ community. Well, you ain't going to get kids trick-or-treating in that area. And then the next place we moved to was up on a hill in Solana Beach. And again, the kids in the neighborhood were all teenagers or older. So there were no trick-or-treaters there. And we lived on a double cul-de-sac in that one. And there are very few. I think there was a total of, on our street, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 houses on our street. And then the cul-de-sac that went off, there was, I think, about the same number down there as well. And again, empty nesters, older teenagers, no trick-or-treating. You had to drive somewhere to go trick-or-treating there to find the neighborhoods where the kids were. So we're hiding out in the study room. I'm calling it the study room / craft room, but it's set up right now for study, because my office is actually at the front of the house. And so I didn't want people seeing the lights coming through the blinds. And so the whole front of the house is dark. And I looked outside, there was no trick-or-treaters yet, but it's only just really getting dark out there right now. But honestly, I don't get the concept of Halloween. Some people get some really cool costumes, and I was like reading for the history of this thing, and there is so much history when it comes to. If you go to the History Channel, if you go to the was it historychannel.com or just history.com? Hang on, history.com, which is for the History Channel, like the one that you see on TV, the History Channel on TV. They have their website, which is history.com. You can just sit there and just scroll down pages and pages and pages of the history of Halloween all the way back, you know, to when it started with the Celts, and it makes very interesting reading. And like they said that Halloween is like there is Hang on, I'm going to go see if I can find it, because this figure just absolutely just like blew my mind. It was somewhere down here. We're going to go back up a little bit. I'm still on the page, so I could whip over to have a look at it. They said something about how much money is spent on Halloween. And I was just sort of like, wait, what? I didn't realize how much was spent on Halloween. Well, that's the movie stuff. Yeah, it says here, today Americans spend an estimated $6 billion annually on Halloween, making it the country's second largest commercial holiday after Christmas. I was like, what? But after seeing how some people decorate their houses, I totally get it. I kind of get it. And then like the other one that was the big surprise too was there was something here about pets. Yeah, they went through a whole bunch of different history, and I was getting so lost reading all of this stuff. Where'd the thing on the dogs go? Wait, did you know more people are buying costumes for their pets? Americans spent nearly $500 million on costumes for their pets in 2021, more than double what they spent in 2010. Zeffie does not have any costumes, in case you're wondering. She does not have any costumes at all. Let's just. I mean, we were out for a walk tonight, and we could hear this really weird noise that kind of sounded something between a roar and hissing noise. We couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It was daylight out there. The sun hadn't even set. I had sunglasses on and my sun hat, and we're out walking. We could hear this growling noise with this hissing noise, and we couldn't figure out where it was. All we knew was it was coming from a street, but we didn't know what house down that street was coming from. We couldn't see anything like fog going, but we figured that later on, when it got dark, that the fog machine would probably start up and all that sort of stuff. But I want to know, do you hide from Halloween? Do you watch? Do you participate? Me, I just hide. Didn't have to do anything when we were living in any of the places we've lived in. Even in the RV parks, there was no trick-or-treating in there. If you were going to do trick-or-treating, which there's no, I mean, I lived in a 55 plus community. And I was like, well, then who goes trick-or-treating? There was actually a sign you could put on the front of your RV to say that you were participating in trick-or-treating. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't, sorry. But yeah, it surprised me how much is spent on Halloween, $6 billion a year. Wow, that's kind of a lot. So then I thought, well, what are some safety things? There's got to be, and of course, not every country celebrates Halloween either. Is it filtering into other Western countries? Yes. Is it popular in other countries? Not as popular as here in the States. There are even some communities that will put an age limit on those that can go trick-or-treating because they think that teenagers are too old. So if you're a teenager in some areas, you cannot go trick-or-treating. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So some states or counties actually have those laws in place. And because you're out in the dark and stuff, make sure you've got flashlights and reflective gear with you so people can see, because kids are darting all over the place. I was thinking of going out after doing this and just going for a drive or something. And then I thought, no, it's too risky with too many little kids running around in that. I don't want to hit them or have them dart out in front of me. No, we'll just hide in the house. But the other safety, if you're going to be doing Halloween trick or treating, take safety measures, reflective gear, flashlights, travel in groups. Parents, make sure that you inspect your candy before your children eat it. Stay in well-lit areas. Let's see what else is on my list here. That was all that was on my list for the thing, but it's just, making sure that you sit and keep track of the kids. And I know some kids have really cute costumes and you don't want to put anything reflective on it. Think of their safety first. You could put it on the back, maybe a little bit on the front where it doesn't ruin the costume too much. You can get these little vests. And make sure that you accompany your children. Yes, I know that some people kind of stay back, like let the children go up on the front porch and they stay back at the bottom of the steps for the front porch, or just on the path there by the front porch, so that they are there within and being able to be seen and that sort of stuff. What about taking pets trick-or-treating? And I kind of thought about this when I thought about it, I thought, taking your dog for, but some people are allergic to dogs. So, and the dogs might get stressed out with some of the noises and things that go on at different places where they have different effects going on. And like Zephy was, when we heard this roaring, hissing sound, she's like, the whole walk, she's like trying to figure out where it was coming from. And then she kind of zeroed in on where it was coming from and just watched that area. And so she's walking along with her head going like this, and she's trying to keep this area in view to see what is causing that noise. Is it coming towards me? Do I need to be concerned about it? So it kind of stressed her out a little bit. But definitely, the other reason that you got to check, Candy, too, is if your child has any allergies. Do they have any nut allergies? Do they have, what other allergy? Oh, there was one the other day. Where was I? There was a sign up at one of the takeout places, and it was at the opening of their drive-through that said that sesame seeds has now been added to the list of allergies. And I was sort of like, sesame seeds? And to advise you that our bun, you're going to have to let us know if you want sesame seeds on your buns or not. Do you want plain buns or do you want sesame seed top buns? Because now apparently sesame seeds are on the allergy list with kids now these days. And I'm like, okay. But I can see, me personally don't get it because I wasn't brought up in that culture of doing it. So it's a learning curve for me. I do like seeing people dressed up in costumes. Some people have some very original costumes, some amazing ideas on costumes, are very inventive with their costumes. I like walking around and seeing the different decorations that people have. The last month we've been walking around the neighborhood and people have already decorated their places for Halloween and stuff. And like there's a place that's got you got the entry into the house, but there's a porch upstairs, a covered patio area upstairs, and they've got like this big mannequin in this big dark cape thing that's with this white face that's like looking down over, and I'm like, I wonder if the eyes glow. And there's another house that has some robed creature of some sort with this big beak out the front of its thing that's just sitting there on the porch. I don't know if it has any mechanics in it that may move to like scare you or something. I don't know. But it is very interesting to see how people are decorating their places for Halloween as well. So there are some positive things that I can think about. It's like decorations, people being inventive with that. The costumes. Costumes are just, some people are very inventive with their costumes. What did I see a video on the other day? Somebody created a portaloo out of a cardboard box, and that was their costume. Like they had legs coming out of the bottom of this box, and the door would open, and there'll be like made it look like they were sitting in there on the portaloo because they had leg things, and they were very inventive with that. But the legs were coming out. Their legs were coming out the bottom of the box, but they had like a curtain around the bottom that covered up, that was blue, that attached to the bottom of the box where the actual loo part was, and the door would open and there'd be their head and their arms there, and it would have these fake legs sitting there like they were sitting on the porta potty. So that was kind of fun. Some people get very inventive with costumes, and so those are kind of cool to see as well. But anyway, do you trick or treat? Do you participate? Do you not participate? What do you do on Halloween? Do you go run and hide like we are? But I have to tell you, this is the first time since 2010 that we have been in a place where it is highly likely to get trick-or-treaters, because there's a lot of families in this area that I live. So that's 13 years. In fact, 14 years, because the last time we would have trick-or-treated would have been in 2009. I don't even think we trick-or-treated that year. But that was the last October 31st that we were in an area where we could have got trick-or-treaters. So it's been a long time. Maybe we'll go for another walk later on when it's dark, when the kids are out and that sort of thing. But or maybe we'll just go and make some dinner and go hide in the back of the house and relax, watch some TV and that sort of stuff. But there'll be kids running around on sugar highs for the next few days. At least I don't have to worry about that. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Halloween? What do you do on Halloween? Do you have Halloween parties? Do you get dressed up in costumes when you're giving out treats for the trick-or-treaters? Do you just close up shop at the house and just go walking around the neighborhood and catching up with neighbors as they're out walking with their kids and doing the trick-or-treating thing? How do you spend your Halloween? Me, I hide. Anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. If you are out trick-or-treating, please be safe. Make sure you got a flashlight with you. Make sure you got reflective clothing of some sort. So with people are driving, because some people are going to drive too fast through neighborhoods. Even if the posted limit is like 25, they should be slowing down because there'll be a lot of kids out tonight. So you need to go a little slower than the speed limit just to be safe for the kids that are out trick-or-treating, and keep your eyes peeled because kids will dart out from behind cars that are parked on the street. But anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera.